Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Nick.
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 Shane.
What's up, everybody? Nickolas and Wildstar. Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Shane.
That guy, he made it. Did you see? He's here with us, and so am I. Welcome you guys to the Nick and Shane show. We appreciate you for being here. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving Day celebration, all that good stuff. Got to feast and be merry and all that. How about you, Shane? How was your Thanksgiving?
Had a great Thanksgiving. So yeah, my daughter and grandson came over. We had a great dinner.
All right.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see them both.
That's good. I'm glad you had a chance to hang out with family because, you know, the government is frowning upon that these days, you know. We're being told to distance ourselves from each other, including our family members. So I'm glad.
Again, are they? Is this?
Oh,
okay.
yeah. It hasn't stopped in California. I mean, even though our governor during Thanksgiving decided to go to Mexico to celebrate. So he went to some fancy resort. I think it was like $23,000 a night, some ridiculous amount of money. But yeah, so while Californians, I don't know what about there in Oregon, but here in California, we're still being told to stay away, stay home, you know, socially distance, wear masks, get vaccinated, all that good shit.
We may be being told the same thing here in Oregon. I just don't pay attention.
All right.
It's so,
we shouldn't be at this point. I mean, you know what I mean?
it's stupid. I know that there's this latest, the Omnicorn or whatever they're calling it. I call it Omnicorn because I think it's a stupid name.
The Optimus Prime.
Stupid virus.
They're coming up with all these new names, you know what I mean? But yeah, I actually caught coronavirus over.
That a boy?
Yeah.
Did you catch or one? I mean, like, was it?
I don't know. I don't know if it was, you know, coronavirus 1 through 12 or 19 or whatever it is.
All right, give me the highlight reel. How'd that treat you?
It wasn't that bad, actually. I mean, it had its ups and downs. It was more so kind of like a body aching type of deal, like a head fog. I had the chills real crazy, though, for like a full 24 hours. I was just in bed under the blanket, like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
But after that, it was just like a head fog. Like I said, body aches, energy kind of depletion type of deal. I lost my sense of taste and smell. That's how I knew I had coronavirus, is because, you know, I guess they said that's one of the telltale signs of the symptoms. And yeah, now that was weird as hell because, you know, I'm eating food and I'm like, it's registering, but like it's weird. Your taste buds have been turned off. So you still have the sense that, you know, hot, cold, wet, that sort of a thing. Yeah, but no
taste, no flavor.
Man, I was sniffing lemons, onions, just cinnamon, all types of shit. That normally, if you smelled it, would, like, you know, cause a reaction.
When did you get it?
I don't know.
No, I mean, like, how long ago did you?
Oh, I think it maybe started last week, Monday. So about 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, it lasted all through Thanksgiving week. This week it was like up and down or whatever. It's at this point it's more like allergies. You know, I got phlegm and coughing. It's like a dry cough.
Okay.
So yeah, but other than that, I mean, it's nothing too serious to where we should be getting hospitalized on ventilators, where we need to get in line to get shots and
We
shit.
have to shut down everything, man.
Yeah.
Someone could sneeze.
I know,
Someone
right?
could sneeze. What if an old person got it, sneezed, and shit themselves at the same time? You can't recover from that. You need a vaccine to protect you, right?
That's crazy. You know what I was thinking that too? I'm like, okay, somebody with like a compromised immune system, you know, of course you want to be mindful, always keep your keep your health in good order or whatever. But that's just a rule of thumb regardless, you know, whether it's coronavirus or the common cold or flu, which seems to have, you know, be non-existent now. But yeah, I mean, even if you were just to catch the common cold, if you are one of those people to where you fall ill, you know, very quickly, then of course you want to do everything to protect yourself and cover your bases. So this is no different, man. I mean, like, I took some oil of oregano. My wife, she treated me with holistic, you know, treatments, kind of gave me some natural herbs and stuff like that. And yeah, I got better.
Wait a minute. What else did you use? You must have used ivermectin.
Nope.
You must have gone out and got the new Pfizer pill, right? That works.
Hydroxychloroquine and treatments and all of it. Nope. You know.
So you not only didn't get vaccinated, you didn't use any of the alternative medications. You used an alternative to alternatives.
Right. This is true. I did. And I made okay.
And you're not dead.
Nope. Isn't that the crazy part? Is because that's the part, that's the real fear that they instilled in us by saying, if you catch coronavirus, it's over. And I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? My wife even caught coronavirus now.
Yeah.
She's recovering from the loss of smell and loss of taste and all of that, and, you know, the chills or whatever. But what's up, Julian? Welcome. Yeah, if you're watching, we do appreciate you for dropping chat. So please say hello. Let us know how you're doing. And if you've caught coronavirus and are a survivor, like you're, I mean, I feel like I
survived corona.
I do. I want to get some shirts that say,
dude, are you kidding me?
You know?
I survived corona, Nick and Shane show.
Yeah. We should do that, man.
Dude, we need to talk after this. I think
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to make some shirts that say, I survived COVID, my government is next. You know,
right.
Like at this point, that's the really only deterrent between us and our freedom is our damn government.
Isn't it crazy? I look around the world today, man, and not very closely because again, I don't watch the news, right?
Right.
So based on previous knowledge and just my own thoughts on when I talk to neighbors, right? And I learn about what life is like in Afghanistan, and I learn about what life is like in, you know, other parts of the Middle East or Africa or whatever, right?
Right.
I get the sense that for the most part, literally the scariest thing on the planet is government.
Yeah.
That's it.
Across the board,
it's government is the scariest thing on the planet. More scary than asteroids on the way. More, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in Austria, Germany, Australia. They're actually putting restrictions on people that have not been vaccinated to say you can't do anything unless you're vaxxed. And what they consider to be vaxxed is anybody that's had the shot within 9 months. If you had it before then, you are still considered unvaccinated or not fully vaxxed, you know, if you haven't had your second, third, fourth, 12th booster shot. So it's crazy that we're seeing restrictions on people that choose to exercise their freedom in those countries and in America as well.
You will comply until you die.
Comply or die. And sadly, like I said, it's awful that a lot of focus isn't being made or being put on the people that have survived coronavirus, like myself. They talk about the cases, the hundreds of thousands of cases, or whatever the case may be. But all of those people are alive.
Well,
A very small fraction have actually died.
And here's the thing: if my understanding of what constitutes a COVID death is even remotely close to correct, I think you have another 7 to 12 years of survival before you can say you actually survived this round of COVID.
Right.
I think they're going to count you as a COVID casualty if you die within the next. But
right.
they
God
right,
forbid anything
right,
happens.
No, he clearly died from a gunshot wound. Yes, but was he in a county where someone had corona? Yes, he was. Definitely a coronavirus death.
Or if something else happened, like another health condition, it's crazy because if you test positive for coronavirus, they will count it as a COVID death as well.
Yeah.
So, but we're alive, man. We should be focusing on the people that are alive, have lived through it, have survived it, have contracted it or whatever, been infected by it. It definitely feels unnatural. That's how I know the shit is definitely made in the lab somewhere. It just feels like it's wrong.
Congratulations, Julian. Congratulations.
See, look, he said he got it back in August after he got the Pfizer shot.
Absolutely.
So it's a lot of people right now, even with that Omicron variant, they're saying the first few people that contracted it were vaccinated. So
well, and then I'm also seeing that there's a doctor. There was a video of a doctor that went probably not too viral. It was probably censored, but from South Africa saying we don't get it. Yeah, it's a new variant, but it's not anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw the same video. Yeah. And the same symptoms that she described was what I experienced. And she's right. It wasn't that bad. A few days later, I'm up and out of bed.
So we've kind of been talking about this. My wife and I have been talking about it. And so I've been looking up just, random stuff about it because it does concern me. Like I'm very concerned about what government is going to do in terms of my right to travel, my right to move around the country. I don't see it being very long before it becomes a real challenge for someone like me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And here's the thing, man. In everything that I'm reading about all the variants, and you have to go back to 2020 to even get anyone to talk about death rates.
Right.
Nobody is willing to talk about death rates of this virus.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not scary. It's just not.
They kept asking, what would you have done differently in response to the coronavirus? And I said, pay attention to the death rate. That's what's most important is the mortality rate of someone having caught coronavirus and died from it. Because it's a high mortality rate, you know what I mean? Something like Ebola, then we should be doing everything in our power collectively to make sure that we're protecting ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we can't be restricting each other to make that happen. And that's what's happening is through the rule of law and the threat of violence now, people are being told, hey, if you happen to catch coronavirus, even you got to get tested. I didn't need to get tested to know. I just paid attention to the symptoms and all of that stuff. And of course, how my body was responding to know that number one, something is wrong. I'm not at my optimum health. But two, that the symptoms being described fit that same category. So, So with that awareness, I think we're able to do a lot more than having to go be forced into a hospital, being put on a ventilator, be injected 2, 3, 4 times with an experimental, vaccine, which isn't going to make you any less sicker.
No.
It isn't. They've even said that as far as efficacy, it doesn't make you immune, and that's a lot of misinformation as well. People are under the impression that if they get the shot, they'll never catch coronavirus. They're now immune to it, and that's a lie. And it's not being corrected by the so-called medical professionals. Not enough to where people are convinced. You even have a video. I saw a video of Kamala Harris saying if you get the shot, you won't catch coronavirus. That's a lie. You know what I mean? So,
wow.
Oh yeah, definitely. But like I said, I got it, man. Had it, whatever the hell, and I'm okay now. Now I got a natural immunity to it based on my body's natural response. I think that's the best way for us to go about dealing with any type of sickness. I mean, I haven't ever caught chickenpox before. You remember they used to have chickenpox parties when we were kids?
When we were kids, they did, yeah.
Imagine doing that shit now. That would be like a party.
Kidding me?
They would send in the CPS and
I was just talking to my wife about this too. You want to know about the most I don't know, what do you exploited group of human beings on the planet is young mothers, first-time moms.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The amount of fear and misinformation and panic that is programmed into a first-time mom's head,
especially now,
dude,
I feel sorry for the new moms now, especially the younger ones, that kind of don't really have much of an idea about life in general, and now they have parenting thrown onto them. I couldn't imagine having a discussion about a chickenpox party or a COVID party with this new generation of parents. But anyways, enough about the coronavirus crisis. I feel like that's talked about enough in the news. But we got a few things that we want to cover here in our discussion. And one of them being old news, yesterday's headlines, is the Show-Arbery trial, which actually was concluded during the Thanksgiving Day or Thanksgiving holiday week. I'm sure you saw the news that the 3 gentlemen that were involved in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery was found guilty. So I think we actually had come to a consensus that it was pretty much going to be an open and shut case. The 3 men, again, during that trial were following a jogger through a neighborhood and ending up cornering him and shooting him in the stomach. Or I'm not sure where they shot him, but he was shot and killed by one of these 3 men. One of them used to be an ex-police officer, and the other was a friend who actually came along for the ride and videotaped the incident. So this videotape actually is what was the smoking gun. Had they not had the video, they wouldn't have been tried and convicted, because before the video hit the light of day, the district attorney was actually informed about this killing, and they pretty much had shut the case. And now that district attorney is on trial for the Ahmaud Arbery cover-up now.
Oh, good. Okay, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, now the DA is on trial, so she's next. now that they got the 3 killers and they've been found guilty, they're now going after the DA for covering up the case.
Well, not just the DA, right? The DA, the sheriffs, the whoever wasn't like the whole law enforcement string.
You're absolutely right. All of them, everybody involved, you know.
So,
from
so
the
now
top.
when you say they're going on trial, does that mean like in a courtroom they're on trial, or now it's a matter of like they got to be arrested, or what? Like where are they at with that?
No, I think the district attorney has been charged. I think she has been. Here it is right here. The former DA is accused of showing favor and obstructing. She's booked on charges of obstructing justice.
Yep.
So I don't know if she's been bailed out or whatever the case may be, but says here that she's actually on trial, or she has been charged with obstruction of justice and will be soon on trial for those charges, I guess. So here it is, ex-prosecutor charged in a Show-Arbery case, booked at jail.
So Nick, this case, I mean, we talked about this. This is an important case to you, right? I mean, this was clearly murder. You were like, the fact that they hadn't touched it for 2 months or whatever, 3 months, whatever it was just egregious. Everything about it, right?
Yes.
I'm telling you, man, once a week, once a month, whatever it takes, Google that DA's name. My prediction is this: she's going to plea.
She's going to plea?
Yep, she's going to plea it out.
And you think they're going to slap her on the wrist and let her go?
Yep.
Yeah, that's, I guess, the next thing coming is the sentencing, because now that all 3 gentlemen were tried and convicted for manslaughter, I guess the minimum sentencing is life in prison. So anything less for any one of these 3 men, yeah, they all got charged with like multiple charges. I think it was like manslaughter in 2nd degree or something like that. But all of them got found guilty for charges that carried a minimum of a life sentence. So if come sentencing, they get 10, 15 years, 20 years in prison or whatever the case may be. That's not up to the standard of what they should be being charged fully for. Same thing with her. Like you said, if she happens to take a plea deal and, get 5 years or whatever the case may be for obstruction of justice, that's definitely not fitting for a violation of public trust for an official such as her in that capacity, and of course, with it being a case that rocked our nation, hello, we got England.
From England.
Hello, Kim. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you for being here all the way from England, UK. All right. Yeah, we were just talking about the Show-Arbery case since it just wrapped up here in America. And it was one that definitely rocked the nation since it was a nationalized incident simply because they decided to sweep it under the rug. I think had they not done that, Shane, initially, we wouldn't be talking about this.
I think you're right.
Action, you know what I mean? It would have been like, oh my God, but at least.
And I think for me, and not that I don't hear this wrong. I do and definitely want justice served, right? I almost care less about the 3 guys than I care about the corrupt government, right, that almost let these 3 guys get away. Because that same corrupt government is keeping guys like that free all over the freaking place. Right. And not just America, all over the world. That kind of corruption in government, keeps, and it also perpetuates that argument about the justice system,
being unequal, and treating one group of people more fairly and favorably than another, instead of it being across the board in this fair and equal justice system. It's not when you have people like her in positions as a district attorney and is able to have this case, pretty much be pushed aside. Yeah, I saw some of the trial. Not sure it was the correct. um, I hope we're talking about the same trial with the Show-Arbery, but yeah, even their prosecutor was attempting to, I guess, whitewash the courtroom by saying there were too many black pastors in the courtroom. Like Al Sharpton was there and Jesse Jackson. So his argument was that there's too many high-profile black people in the courtroom, and he wanted it closed off. The judge argued, no, of course, since it's a courtroom, it's a public place, which is open to the public. We should all be able to see what's going on in the public place and have public access to it, which is why it was broadcast on YouTube live, as well as, seen on the news. But thankfully, the trial is over. I think a lot of people are feeling like a weight has been lifted, so to speak, because this actually happened before the George Floyd trial or George Floyd killing.
Right.
And it was kind of like a domino effect over this.
Oh, yeah.
Because this was right when the lockdowns happened and people are thinking, okay, incidents like that should subside completely. You know what I mean? Where you have a shooting of a civilian, unarmed citizen, by a police officer or by someone that's pretending to be law enforcement in this case. And so it became a hot button issue, and now that it kind of has hit the wayside, I think a lot of people are happier about the verdict, but are still kind of on edge to see how these guys are going to be sentenced, just like this district attorney lady.
Yeah. See, and I get that. Like I said, man, justice being served, super important to me.
She even looks like she don't care. She
knows
she knows she's getting out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like judge her or get into any of that. All I will say is this, man, is that based on everything that at least I understand about how this case went down, right? I believe she is actually an accessory to whatever crime these guys committed. It's not a matter of obstructing justice.
Right.
She's actually an accessory to it. She attempted to cover it up.
And that's great.
And already I'm disappointed to hear that what she's charged with is obstruction of justice. I hope that charge increases at some point or has added to it, right? Because that's exactly what it is.
Right. I couldn't agree with you more, man. People should be more upset with the justice system. People such as her failing us collectively, and our attention now should be focused on making sure that she, of course, is sent to jail for her crimes, and like you said, not let off easy, because she should be charged as an accessory.
Of course, she tried to help cover it up. How is that not an accessory?
Yeah. If any one of us were to do it, we'd definitely be charged with as an accessory.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, she shouldn't be given a pardon for that. Speaking of pardons, there is another trial going on where a lot of people are seeking to be pardoned, because these are extremely high-profile people across the board. It includes politicians, attorneys, people of the monarchy, kings, queens, that sort of a thing. And it is the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell. So a lot of people don't know who Ghislaine Maxwell is. She is the fiance of longtime fiance or partner or whatever you want to call it, spouse of Jeffrey Epstein, who is a well-known child sex trafficker. Okay, so you do a little history, a little homework on Jeffrey Epstein, you end up finding out that this guy pretty much was like some rich, wealthy, privileged guy who used his connections to get high-profile people prostitutes. That's how he made his money. That's how he acquired his wealth, whatever the case may be, his status. And the majority of these women were underage, teenagers, 13, 14, was when he primed them and pretty much made them his clientele, or I don't even know what to say.
Threw him in the harem.
Yeah, he did basically. He had an entire island where he would fly out people like Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump to come to this island to party. Kim Wheeler says it sucks that the lad died, but shouldn't have been creeping about that house. Regardless, he tried to snatch the gun off that man. So what do people expect the gun owner to do? Kill or be killed? All right, Kim. So let's
can we do this at the end? Let's save this for the end because it deserves a response and I want time to like mull this over because look. I'm going to be candid, and we will. Kim will get to that at the end. We're going to answer your question or respond to that. Remember when we talked about it? My initial concern going into the Aubrey case was that I was reading as much as I could because I knew we were going to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
And everything that I was finding that I could read was giving a very what I thought was. A compelling and an interesting perspective on the self-defense that those guys used. In particular, the guy that pulled the trigger and shot him, right?
Oh yeah.
And so I thought, well, now that is interesting. It ignores a lot of very important things prior to, but it's an interesting way to try to phrase this and look at the whole thing. So Kim, please stay tuned. At the end of this, we want to come back and come back and come back to that question. So anyhow, I'm sorry, Nickolas. Let's go back to the Ghislaine Maxwell one.
All right, yeah. So Epstein was priming these young women, like I said, very high profile people. Flown out to this island. He used to have parties in New York, parties in Florida where he used to be, have these underage women. So actually there's a Wikipedia page about the guy if you guys want to check it out. And they even break it down to say in 2005, the Palm Beach, Florida police began investigating Epstein for sexually abusing a 14-year-old girl. Parents had made a complaint and they investigated them. He actually pled guilty 3 years later in 2008 for child prostitution and soliciting a prostitute. He was only charged for those two charges. He served 13 months in custody and was released. He was then charged federally in 2019. Okay, so it went from 2008, his first conviction, to 11 years later, where he finally was charged federally for these child sex trafficking crimes. And that was when he was in a federal prison and I guess had committed suicide. So that's when his case ended up taking more of a national light, because before that it was just another Epstein arrest, you know what I mean? But this time around, since they were going to be talking about who actually who was involved in all of this stuff, it was going to get bigger. And next thing you know, the guy ends up dead in his federally protected cell in a federal prison. So I don't know what to say about the Epstein didn't kill himself conspiracy, but if this is a guy like him in a high profile case, in a federal prison, and they have cameras. There was no camera footage of his suicide. I've been to county jail and they got cameras at every angle. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
So
If it's
let me ask this.
president,
So as you know, I don't follow the news. I don't pay attention to this shit, right?
yeah.
All right. So Epstein,
Peace out, Julian.
yeah, thanks, Julian, for joining us. Epstein has he gets put in this prison cell. He dies, however he dies, right? Honestly, this is going to sound like a stupid question, but did they ever produce his body?
That's a good question, because there seems to be a lot of questions even about his autopsy. Like you said, how did he kill himself? They claimed he hung himself, but was there an autopsy? Where's the coroner? Where's the autopsy report?
Where's the
none of that was
pictures?
really made. Exactly. Where's the pictures of his dead body? Nothing was ever produced. We were just told all of this information. So,
all right.
Yeah. And like I said, this guy has connections to Donald Trump, Leslie Wexner, who is a billionaire, Bill Clinton, Alan Dershowitz, who is a high-profile attorney. He's actually represented Bill Clinton and Donald Trump.
Right.
So this attorney, he's fought Senate cases before. He's advised presidents and all of this other stuff. So Prince Andrew. There's even pictures of him with some of the younger women, with Ghislaine Maxwell. And there's pictures circulating all over the internet of Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, all in the same place at the same time. Donald Trump even said he's known him for 15 years. And in some Esquire magazine, they did an interview about Epstein, painting the guy as some Hollywood playboy and shit. They actually made a piece about him to make him, sound like a delightful guy. I don't know how much he paid to get it, but he got a quote from Trump in this interview saying about how he was a nice guy, and that he liked women on the younger side. So Trump was aware of this, and people forget, like, who was Trump before Trump was president? This is also this is the guy that runs the Miss America.
Women on the younger side.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
He runs the Miss Teen USA pageants, Donald Trump. So he's been around a lot of.
Right.
Yes, that was Donald Trump.
But here's the thing. But then now we're going down a whole rabbit hole of what could be or whatever.
It is a rabbit hole. That's what this trial should be. It is a rabbit hole that we should be like, what the hell is down there? Because
But with everything we've talked. Okay, but with everything we've talked about, right? Honestly, if we're being genuinely honest with ourselves, what do we expect to come of this trial?
That is true. I actually thought about that. Like, what are people expecting? Because it's not like all of them are going to be arrested.
None of them will.
This trial, really, because there's so many people involved, it could go on for years, just with witnesses and all of that stuff alone. But are you going to be arresting, former presidents and, princes of other countries? And no. I don't think it's going to happen.
No, it's amazing to me, man, that this is such a big deal to so many people. Right? Because we seem to have so much emotional investment in the outcome of it. Like, first of all, I don't want to like Jeffrey Epstein, this Maxwell lady, and anyone who partook in this stuff is disgusting. Yeah. Right? It's horrifying, and they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, blah, blah, F and blah, right? The same thing everybody always says. Right. Right? But help me understand, media, world, why I give a shit as to what the outcome is.
The media isn't even talking about the case, Shane. That's the scary part. You would think they'd be all over this, you know?
Right.
They've been so hush-hush. There's been more talk about how Tucker Carlson, has been making friends with Chris Cuomo, who got fired from CNBC or whatever the hell. It's like, are you kidding me? Or this Omicron shit, or the new shooting, school shooting that happened. So the focus is on everything else but this. And I think the reason being is because of all of the high profile people involved and the big kicker, which you said, what's going to happen if she's found guilty? We know she is. This is a heinous crime beyond belief. And if we really talk about protecting our youth, our children, the next generation, then there's a shitload of people involved, and they all should be in prison because of it. But it's not going to happen, and that's really why they're not talking about it, because they don't want us to get pissed off about that fact. Kim actually pointed out another good fact here. James Comey's daughter, who's a Supreme Court justice, his daughter is actually the federal prosecutor in this Ghislaine Maxwell case. So there's a little bit of conflict of interest there for you. I mean, it's already rigged. That should say a lot. And she's right. He's also the Comey's daughter, was also in the Epstein case, I guess responsible for the missing videotape, whatever the case may be. It's just crazy because we've gotten none but illustrations from this case. The notes on it are very sparse. Everything, of course, now all of the news is behind a paywall. So
Yep.
Unless they're actually talking about it openly on the news, then, it's hard to find information as is. So American people, this is your corporate media at its best, at its finest, doing everything to suppress a story that should be concerning to us all, because this involves our government, world government leaders, and their exploitation of our children.
On one hand, here's the thing though that I want to point out, right? The who's he what's it Maxwell. I can't even pronounce her name. I don't like it. Whoever that lady is, right? You think about who she is and her role in everything that happened. As I understand it, she was essentially a recruiter.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Shame on her. But in all of this, isn't she like literally the least interesting person involved in all of this? Right. Like, dude, this is like busting why is she the only one in jail?
Why is she the only one on trial? If anything, she should have been investigated, and they should have asked her who actually was engaging with, in sexual relations with children. They have it on video. They actually said Epstein's place had video cameras everywhere. It was like a makeshift massage parlor, he had rooms all throughout the mansion or whatever the case may be. But he had videos of all of these encounters. Where is that evidence?
Like blackmail?
Yeah, he kept it as leverage to where, something happens. He's like, hey, I got video of you doing this, whatever the case may be. And that's his get out of jail free card. Where's all of that evidence at? But you're right. If she's just a recruiter, and she engaged in it sometimes herself, but if she's a recruiter, it to me, as a law enforcement, whatever the case may be, the most important thing should be, who were you recruiting those people for? You know what I mean? Who were those people? Because if you go down the strip or whatever, and you see a prostitute or a lady of the night sex worker, they're going to arrest the person that picks up the prostitute, right?
Right.
That's who they're after.
That's right.
If that be the case with consenting adults, to where you're going to go after the John, the person that's, acquiring the service,
Yeah.
then
Dude, that's a total
what?
That's a total black market opportunity, man.
Yeah, that should
Just
be
getting a shingle out there, like, dude, I know hoes. If you need to get hooked up, give me a call. I'll go get you your hooker, whatever. I don't know what you'd say, and then I'll bring her to you, right? So I won't ever do anything immoral. I'll just make sure a transaction takes place.
Well, that's the pimp. So
no, I don't want to be a pimp. I don't want to do that. No, that sounds horrible. No, I'd like to be more of a service on the other side of it, Like, dude, somebody got, like, Shane, dude, I need to get laid, man. I can't take it anymore. I'm having a tough month. I'm not gonna make my bills this month. I just need to get laid. I got you, man.
Yeah.
Just
so you would be a pimp.
Right? No. Because I always think, I don't know. I think of a pimp as like this negative connotation. Man, here's what's good news.
Epstein was a pimp. See,
I don't know what the hell
levels of pimps.
So see, I would have thought of her as a recruiter and Epstein as the pimp.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Right.
Or like the guy who owns the Bunny Ranch in Vegas. He's
Right.
a proud pimp. He's an actual businessman pimp. Versus,
yeah, man, I don't want to be. How about that? Can't I just be marketing? Like, I can't. Why can't I be that?
You can call yourself the liaison. Something else. Sounds less pimpish. But
fun world we live
in. All right. So another thing that's circulating around the internet is this deal about how the day the Maxwell trials started, you had a whole lot of high-profile CEOs resign. Twitter, Walmart, CNBC, a whole bunch of other companies as well. But coincidentally, again, when this trial started, all of these people resigned. And a lot of people are saying, don't connect the dots. It's another conspiracy theory, yada, yada, yada. But there's a whole lot going on with this case that we just don't know. It's even with this coronavirus crisis, they're telling us the Freedom of Information Act about it all, for us to get all of the data, cannot be enacted until 50 years from now.
Right.
So if they're doing that about a pandemic, what do you think they're going to do about this trial?
Look, they did it with the JFK assassination, and then they extended it. Right. So in other words, kids, boys and girls, you're never going to know the truth.
Never going to know the truth.
Accept that. You will never know the truth. It's in your face. They don't care what you think. Right. They will provide you with entertainment. They will provide you with really good, salty, sugary food to keep your mind occupied. And then you can just, I don't know, I guess live as livestock, right? The cradle to grave system.
Right.
It's amazing to me, man. Like, it couldn't, honestly, who would it take, right? Would it take the president of the United States to go, okay, gig's up. Yeah, we've been fucking with you guys all along. Yeah, this is who we really are. If the president of the United States said that, I still, people would just go, no, well, yeah, I guess that's just what it is.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, having been involved with politics, over the past 10 years, I can just see people's subservience and their complacency. Where it can be blatant. They could even admit it. It'll be right in front of your face, and people will just shrug their shoulders and go on about their day.
That, or you're a conspiracy theorist.
Right, exactly. You're some quack. Kim Killer says, our royal family have a long history of keeping company with nonsense. Or I think she means nonsense. Most notably, Jimmy Savile. Haven't heard of that. One of the worst. He even did things with dead bodies. Prince Andrew and Charles were best mates with them. Wow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure when you start looking at UK history and other news cases um, from all over the world, we could connect the dots with everything that's going on with here in America.
Well, now if you can't connect the dots between 3 CEOs resigning on the day that this trial starts, I don't know how you can connect the dots between, all this shit happening around the world.
Right? Hey,
must-
I don't get paid to be a detective,
Right.
but if I did,
Right.
you would think it would be of the best interest for those people to do exactly that, their job.
Yes. Yeah.
But
it's
yeah,
just
well,
it's all mind blowing to me. But you know what? Kim just brought her comment up, or brought a comment up, and we only have a few minutes here.
Yeah.
Can we bounce back to that other? Okay. So Kim, here's my take on it. First of all, I am very pro Second Amendment, and I come from a quote unquote conservative background, right? So here is where I'm at with everything as far as a Second Amendment right is concerned and the self-defense argument. When they went out to confront the guy, they were well within their rights to be armed. In other words, to take guns from their homes, to have them with them in the event that they had a legitimate reason to be afraid of this guy. Now, when they approached the guy, and there were 3 of them, even if only one person showed up at a time, if he knew that he had backup coming, which he did know, right? There was no reason for any one of them at any point in time to present that weapon, whether it's self-defense or not, in any threatening manner whatsoever. Right. By virtue of crossing that line, right? It went from, hey, I want to ask you some questions, to an assault, to murder, right? You don't cross. Yes, you have the right to defend yourself. You have the right to have a weapon. All of those things are true. However, you are responsible for the outcomes of what you do with those things. And he had no business. None of them had any business presenting their weapons in a defensive manner or in a threatening manner in a situation where there's 3 of them, 1 of him. I'm sorry. Look, it's not premeditated murder, right? These guys didn't sit around and plan it, but it was murder. And that's all there is to it. These guys got all excited, right? Their adrenaline was pumped up. They're all pissed off about crimes that they feel are happening in their neighborhood or that are actually happening in their neighborhood. They had all sorts of excuses and reasons to be all amped and pumped and angry and defensive. And hey, who's this guy going through our house and going through through our neighborhood and going through that house? Look, all of those things, those are all emotions that these 3 guys had no control over. And when they lost control of the emotion, right, they went and made really, really stupid, irrational decisions. It's murder because they made it murder. It's not self-defense. It's murder because they made it murder.
I'm even going to go off on a limb and say he violated, or they violated, the non-aggression principle that we all know and live by.
Yes.
Should.
Yeah.
But just the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated, whether they're armed or not. Their approach to him was a violation of that non-aggression principle because they had the intent to cause harm. Him grabbing the man's gun, again, if someone is attacking you, you're just going to stand there. You don't know why they're attacking you. You're posing. You're making it sound, Kim, like they were posing as themselves as non-lethal threats, or
Well, let's not put words in her mouth, though, right? She seems to have that perception.
Yeah, but why have that perception to say he tried to snatch their gun? Wouldn't the problem be the person that has a gun pointing it at someone who is unexpected to be at gunpoint?
Right.
I mean, if you were walking down the street, Kim, and somebody pulled out a gun on you, I think, if anything, you would react. Anybody would, react to someone pulling a gun on them and them not knowing why. I guess the question about him creeping around a house, even the landowners if you go back and look into the notes of this case or whatever, the landowner said multiple people came
That's
through
exactly right.
to that house.
Yeah.
They had it on video. They even showed it during the trial. He wasn't the only one that happened to pass through this house.
Right.
And again, he's jogging through the neighborhood. So if people want to take that out of context to say, well, no, he was scoping the neighborhood or whatever the case may be, even still, if these guys took it upon themselves to play police and go and deal with it themselves, I think Shane pointed out the biggest failure was the justice system sweeping it under the rug and kind of acting as if nothing happened until that video went viral. Before that, they had an opportunity to act on the issue and deal with it subtly, which they could have done.
Yep.
We wouldn't have even known about it.
There's in my opinion, that's the first failure. The first failure is on those three guys that had the opportunity. They had the opportunity to handle this situation in a perfectly mature, reasonable, rational manner.
Right. So in that case, if his killer be killed, I mean, if he would have responded and killed those people, then he would be on trial, and it would have definitely been a self-defense case because he was unarmed, disarmed someone to then defend himself versus him being on offense,
But
she says a nonsense slang for pedo. Jimmy was a BBC DJ. He was knighted by the Queen. BBC knew what he did with the kids in their building and did nothing. An apology came only after Jimmy died. She was talking about the Epstein thing, and she says, I'm inclined to agree with you. It's a tough one. They was all in the wrong. Certainly he didn't deserve to die. Exactly. When we take it upon ourselves, I think we talked about this in the last episode when we were talking about the Rittenhouse trial, is vigilante justice and us taking the law into our own hands. Where do we draw that line as a society? If we're going to allow it to be crossed continuously, then why even have the institutions of law enforcement, the criminal justice system, any of that? Again,
I think you make a great observation there. At least you opened my eyes to one. The real difference between Rittenhouse and these three guys, right? Rittenhouse was at no point in time in any video anywhere, right? What's going on, TJ? At no point in time was Rittenhouse the aggressor. He was never the aggressor in any situation that night.
Right.
His was in defense. These three guys, they were all aggressive.
Yes.
Hyper aggressive. Like police officer aggressive.
Yes.
Which is, as we know, inappropriately aggressive police officers. And so I just don't understand. What do you think the outcome is going to be, man? That's the way I look at it. It's murder. I'm glad you kind of see it that way. It's tough. It sucks. And again, I'm going to make the case, whether it's the Aubrey case, whether it's the Rittenhouse case, whether it's the Maxwell case, at the end of the day, if we want to have a better world and we want to be happier people, none of this shit matters.
Yeah, we got to start treating each other better. That's where it starts.
Yeah.
And I think if anything, if we want to talk about valuing life, it not only should apply to a new life in the womb, or someone on death row, but our people that are still living, our young people that are looking for an opportunity to grow in an environment where they're being, cultivated and educated and etc., instead of being exploited. And that's what's happening right now with our justice system. If and for some reason at all with this Maxwell trial, heads don't roll, is we can truly look at it then and say it's failed our children. There's a lot of parents out there that have had experiences with CPS. They can already tell you hands down, the government has failed our children. I think the head of CPS in Los Angeles just resigned because of, some craziness with their department. But you've had senators come out time and time again for the past 20 years and say CPS is awful. It does more harm than good.
Yeah.
And it still exists, and people still think that it's a well-oiled machine and it's working, and courts are justified in taking children away from parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as long as that mechanism exists, then we can't be reliant upon anything to be better. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Because you're going to have more harm coming, more damage being done than anything. But
hey man, can I put a random thought at you before we call it a night?
Yes.
All right. Bernie Madoff. Why is his name important right now?
You talking about the Enron guy, Madoff?
No. Yeah, Bernie Madoff was the pyramid scam guy.
Yeah.
Right. He's the one. He was the big case. He was the huge deal back when the whole financial meltdown happened in 2008 through 2010.
Yeah.
Bernie Madoff was the face of capitalism. He was the evildoer. He was the bad guy. Right. And we all know that at the end of the day, Bernie Madoff wasn't he
was a fall guy, man.
Right? He is the equivalent to Ghislaine Maxwell or whatever her name is.
Oh, damn. You're right. They're both down here on the totem pole of accountability.
Cannon fodder, man. Keep the simple, stupid people simple and stupid happy.
Yeah.
We'll give them a little something to chew on, right?
Yeah.
But meh.
I want to say something to all of the people out there who think that we have people in place like Trump that is going to uproot the deep state. Okay? This is deep state 101 right here, this case. And his comments for Ghislaine Maxwell when they arrested her was, "I wish her well." Just think about that, people. He wished her well. She's a known pedophile. She's a known child sex trafficker, and he wishes her well.
All right. In all fairness, though, man, we need context. How did he say it? Because I can see me saying something.
I wish her well. They asked him, "What do you think about the trial?"
Right.
And he said she's a very fine woman, or whatever the case may be. I wish her well. I can find a quote or whatever. We can talk about it next time. But think about that, people. So when we talk about accountability, we have to start at the top, and not look at these fall guys, not look at the cannon fodder, as Shane put it, to distract us all. Because if we pay attention to that, we're going to miss the bigger picture. And 10, 15 years, 20 years are going to go by, and it'll be another backstory or whatever it may be.
And here's what I'm saying is going to happen. This is what is going to happen. We're going to forget about this story.
Right.
Nothing is going to come of it. It's just going to be a story that was here today, be gone tomorrow. No one will remember a thing about it, right? These guys will get away with it once again. And 20 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever, they're going to step their game up. It'll go from the child pedophile ring to who knows, man. I don't know how you up your game from that crap, but whatever. It's going to be some other heinous crap that these assholes were involved in, right? And we're going to do the whole thing again, and then they're going to throw us more cannon fodder. Look, if you want to make a difference, I'm telling you, these people don't matter. What they did do does matter. I understand that, but the people themselves don't matter. And if you want accountability, start with yourself, not at the top.
Yeah.
You can never hold the top accountable. You can't even reach that high. Right?
Well, we better start reaching high.
No, we start reaching low. Reach with ourselves.
Well, it's them low-hanging fruit that we're too busy being distracted by, like Maxwell.
That's right. Ignore it.
Yeah, Maxwell should be a can of worms. It should be a Pandora's box.
It should be. You're absolutely right. If there was such thing, if only there was some sort of federal bureau that did investigations. Like we should have one of those.
Yeah,
or some central
people like me.
Yeah, or some central agency that can
exercise their sovereignty. Yeah. TJ says some of the victims got a tattoo, not the same one, just a butterfly. Yeah. They did weird stuff like cultish with the branding, with the tattoos, and I don't know. It's crazy because as this case unfolds over the next few months or whatever the case may be, I'm sure a lot is going to come to light. It's just a matter of what happens with that information. It would be great if there was some federal bureau of investigation that actually, did hold these people accountable for their crimes. Because then I think that would inspire our countrymen more that, we're on the right track versus going off of the cliff. So,
just simply by suggesting that, you and I probably now have an FBI file on ourselves.
Oh, I already did. You should have known that. Just by affiliating yourself with me, that you ought to watch that. TJ says, I want to know what was in it. Yeah, he said they got a safe, the surprise raid that happened while he was in the air got a safe. Yeah.
Okay.
All of that. Yeah, the painting with Bill Clinton in the dress and, Bush with the paper planes and all of that. Those are all paintings from Epstein's home that they got. The girls, the victims, after he finally got arrested. Some of them got connected and got tattoos. All right. So thanks for the information, TJ. We definitely got to talk about the resolution of this case when it happens, or whatever the case may be. But come back next week and we're going to be talking about something else, hopefully. So please connect with me on social media right there. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all that Governor Wildstar. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to click that subscribe button. Shane and I would certainly appreciate it. We need more people like you committing to keeping each other in the know. We can't be reliant upon mainstream media, the sensationalized news. We need to just have conversations about these things. So if we could unite and come together about how we can approach dealing with them to make everybody happy, then I think we can send our country in that direction that we want it to be in, towards freedom and liberty and justice and all that good stuff. So, Shane, you want to say something before we get out of here? Because we got to go, man.
Man, I feel like I said a lot tonight. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you for all of the comments, TJ. Have a blessed evening as well. Kim, all the way from England, Julian jumping in, and all of you people out there that were watching and didn't say a word. Please definitely come back next time and join us on the Nick and Shane Show. Till next time, you guys, long live liberty. We about this bitch. Peace.
Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Nick.
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 Shane. Shane.
Nick.
Shane. Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm 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 Shane.